And welcome back, everybody. We are back to the main CBC podcast. As always, thank you guys for joining us. I am your host, Armin. You can find me at Armides, and I'm here with Joe.
You can find me at Halftime, Joe.
Also here with Mitch.
You can find me at Mitch692.
And Tristan.
You can find me at Control Breakers.
So we got a few topics here. Obviously, we actually started dividing up a lot of our other topics into like box office breakdown. That doesn't belong here. That should probably be in the actual film stuff. So it makes more sense to put it there. So if you guys see that some of these shows are running smaller on topics, it's because of this exact reason. It just makes more sense to divide it this way. As always, this podcast is brought to you guys by all you guys who support us on Patreon. So thank you a lot for that. And as always, if you guys want exclusive content like commentaries, which our upcoming one is going to be Wonder Woman, you guys can go check out the Patreon, and you're going to find Wonder Woman on there before the end of the month. It's one per month is how we're doing it. And believe it or not, Blade 2 is never coming, so there you go.
I like how you have to announce it's never coming.
It's never going to happen, so stop wishing. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe,
We'll see, it is
Netflix, but we never know.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us, guys. Check out the Patreon, and let's get into the topics at hand. Joe, you like Shazam, right?
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably the biggest fan here of Shazam.
So, talking about Shazam, there's been a lot of casting going on the last couple weeks, so let's get into it. What particularly catches you as the most interesting casting that they've done so far, other than Zachary Levi?
Well, they finally found Billy Batson, which about how long is it? 3 years? 3 years it took them to find Billy Batson ever since they announced Shazam and hey,
they had to wait for him to hit puberty, so you had to wait a bit.
I don't know if I'm happy or excited that it's not the kid from Stranger Things in It.
I'm kind of let down by that, to be perfectly honest.
I don't want the baggage of it. It's the hype, it's just him, it's all him. But at the same time, that would have been cool. He's good. I like him on it, and I like him on Stranger Things. Finally, he looks like Zachary Levi. Mark Strong could be Dr. Savannah, which he looks, he has the bald head already. And
oh, yeah.
I think you had mentioned it, Mitch, right before? That Mark Strong should be a villain in it or something. Is that what you said?
Mitch called out who the villain. He was like, I bet you they're gonna go Dr. Savannah, and sure enough, 2 hours later, that news hit. It was like,
okay.
I
remember something about that you said you mentioned in the show, and then hours later.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
I was talking about who it could possibly be. I don't remember saying
it makes sense that it's Dr. Savannah. He could be the guy that maybe Billy knows him in the beginning and he realizes he's evil or something, yada yada. You can also mix in with his parents dying and similar things because Billy's most likely going to be an orphan. And that'd be great if it was that one short that's 15, 20 minutes of, or maybe longer, of where it's Superman, Shazam versus Black Adam. Maybe I would have hoped Henry Cavill could show up and be like, Billy, you just got to believe, that type of thing.
You just got to believe.
Yeah, so look, what gets me excited, because after this leads to the big brain worm coming later, Mr. Mind. Shazam is just gonna have super the director is gonna go all out. You already know from his Twitter, he's just going all out and it's gonna be super Shazam-y, and I can't wait. This is I'm excited. I love the director. The casting's okay. He's a young white kid. That's Billy Batson. I don't know. Yeah. I've told Mitch this before. I'm not that big on kid actors being amazing. They can be funny, but I don't think they deserve Oscars in that sense. So a kid's a kid actor. I'm not gonna hate or love it. It's just it is what it is.
I mean, the thing is, with Shazam, I think it's finally awesome that within 3 months we're gonna have both Captain Marvels have their movie. That's awesome. It gets me real excited, and Shazam is honestly one of these characters that I wish I knew more about, but he was never a character I got too much into, but I know his back history because I've read up on it and stuff, and it's I want this movie to be different. If it's set in the DCEU, all right, whatever, just have it feel and look different, and that's my hope, and I hope they can gather something from Thor Ragnarok and just go balls to the wall insane,
I wonder how much of New 52 or how much of pre-New 52 this movie will be, because there is a difference. The difference was that Jeff Johns created a more modern version in New 52, where he's a little bit more it looks darker, at least in the art, and he's not darker per se, but he is more modern, where he might cuss every now and then, and he is he was left by his parents, and that was happened before, but they actually make it a point, and kids are mean to him in this one. So I wonder how much of a modern
I'd
version
imagine they'd probably Spider-Man Homecoming it.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's not the Peter Parker from the original like Amazing Fantasy comics. It's just a modern kid acting in that sort of role.
I don't think it'll be as dark as New 52 though, or that one was a little bit like more.
No, they're gonna have to like completely separate themselves from the Superman in this universe.
They
and
want this
their
one to be
Superman
dark.
is the dark one in a minute, so we go the complete opposite end of that.
I hope that I don't know if it'll be in it. I don't know if they'll have it in it. That would be great because it would be this whole thing of like the Marvel family where it's Shazam and his orphan brothers and sisters, and he gives them some of his powers, and they become quote unquote Shazams as well, and they all team up. That might be
that's sequel bait, to be honest.
Okay, that's true.
Like that's the post credit where it's like he accidentally transfers it to someone, and it's like, oh my god.
Because the thing everybody hates about the recent Flash, where Iris said, "You're not Flash, Barry. We're all Flash." That's stupid. It works better for Shazam. We're like, I'm not just Shazam. We're all Shazam because he can actually give them powers to be Shazams. So that makes more sense. But
I think that's definitely a sequel hook you got there.
That'd be great. You can also do the 7 Deadly Sins, but Dr. Savannah being there is just it's gonna be great. And I low-key hope that Billy works in a dying industry such as the newspaper industry, because that'd be interesting. Like he's just like, man, why am I working here? Like I don't get paid anything
How
or
old is
whatever.
Billy Batson supposed to be?
10 or so.
And he's working in the paper.
12. He can. 12, 10, 12. People work that early, especially if he's an orphan. Like, I'm sure they...
See, that's illegal over here. You can't work that. Can't work.
I think you just have
you
a...
have like a paper round, but...
I'm sure they're going to age him up. Like, to 16 or something.
I mean, like,
Well, how old's the kid they cast?
It's facts. Let's check. Asher Angel. Because I don't want to take too long on this, but I want to check...
See, my big hope for, like, Shazam would be, what if they go literally, like, insane and they make it a period piece? I would know if this movie was, like, set in the 40s or 50s, and it's like, oh my god, like, they capture that rise of, like, that Americana where Shazam belongs, like...
golly, like, that type of thing where, I would love that, because that'd be perfect for me, because I love the old, the original kind of, like... take on it where it is very the 70s. The golly, mister, what are you doing? Like, that's just, I love that, but I wouldn't mind if it's modern because that just seems right. But the actor is 15, so I'm sure they're gonna make him around that age, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
He'll be that age. He'll probably be in high school. I just think everything's going good for it. You have Zachary Levi, you have maybe Mark Strong as the villain, Dr. Savannah. You don't have The Rock, which is something going good for the movie. You have like the castings there with Billy Batson, and the director just seems really into it. Like, have you seen his tweets? This dude is always into this, like, so much. And I've been into this director since I saw his short film on YouTube a long time ago, which made into the movie Lights Out. So I've been thinking this dude is like really smart, and it's just perfect. It's like awesome. A perfect movie for me now. And
just quickly before we move on, what do you think about Black Adam apparently being in Suicide Squad 2? I think that's a completely wrong move. It smells
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought that they shouldn't have focused on the magic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about y'all. Like, I didn't think Enchantress should have been the villain. I think it should have been like army, like bad guys or something. Cause that seems Suicide Squad-y.
Like a Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. It could have been like a warlord or something. That they have to topple. That would have been a better movie, to be honest. They have to topple a warlord. That's Suicide Squad.
They got to go after Fidel Castro.
Bro, anything. Like, I don't know.
What
like
about Coney?
I think
go after Coney.
I'm pretty sure Fidel Castro died.
Whatever. I don't know. It's Cuba or whatever.
He's quote dead. He's quote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he died. Okay, just making sure.
Bullcrap. He's just faking his own death. He's actually the #1 player in Players Unknown Battlegrounds.
Look, since he died, can Tupac and Michael Jackson come out of Cuba now? I'm just saying. Can Coney come out of Cuba? That's what I think he's.
Why are you leaving Biggie out of this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Biggie. True, Biggie. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, Shazam. So the internet literally exploded this week, where we didn't just get one of those little rumors, like a legit report from a legit source officially stated, Fox is looking to sell off its assets, and Disney's looking to buy all that film and TV division, which would include the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avatar, Family Guy, properties like that, which would be huge if this happens.
Alien,
now,
Predator.
Well, okay, I said
Apes.
huge, not dying. Come on, Mitch. Come on.
Yeah, but like Planet of the Apes, like it's huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
And to correct a couple people, they're not going to be buying the news or sports departments of Fox. So Fox
it's just purely 21st century stuff.
Yeah, because that's what people saw on some sites and Twitter. People was, oh, they have Fox News now, and then people know they're.
Yeah, I don't think Fox could actually sell off Fox News to anyone.
Yeah, nobody wants it.
So just take it.
Wasn't it Fox just who wanted to buy Warner Brothers a while ago, and then AT&T bought them? Yeah, so, like if you have the money for Warner Brothers, why are you selling?
So here was the thing, from what I understand by talking to some people, and when Fox was looking to buy Warner Brothers, they pretty much wanted to do that so they could gain that giant library, because Fox is feeling really how do I put this nicely? They're feeling inadequate compared to the other studios, which makes sense. Everybody else has a giant streaming service. They got this legacy catalog of cartoons and properties and stuff they own.
That makes sense.
And Fox is the only one that doesn't. They try to go after Warner Brothers because they saw what they could do there. Now that didn't go through because of some egos, Fox really desperately wants to sell off its assets. And you got to think, somewhere in this discussion, right? It's not just, okay, we'll buy all your properties. Marvel Studios is probably in there one-on-one going, what do we need to do to get our properties back? And make no mistake, Warner Brothers cannot buy Fox and gain the X-Men and the Fantastic Four because they're Marvel property. There's legitimately only 2 or 3 studios out there that can. It's Disney, it's Universal, and it's Paramount. Paramount's already out of the question because they don't have the funds, which leaves Universal and Disney. Universal, if they get them, it's probably going to be a Hulk deal where they'll end up in the Marvel either way. So realistically, the only company that is going to buy them, at least the Mutants and the Fantastic Four, is going to be Disney. So if they get any of the other stuff, it's, give or take, but in the next 3 or 4 years, they're getting the Mutants and the Fantastic Four back if this is going through. And Fox desperately needs to sell off from what it seems like, so it's probably going to happen. And I mean, it's all the people that are working for these two are going to guarantee themselves jobs. So, it's...
Have you seen, on the flip side, though, where people don't want Disney to buy those properties back because they want to have an R-rated Deadpool 3 or any other R-rated movie?
You're gonna get an R-rated Deadpool, because they'll knock it under one of the other.
No, I know that, but Disney doesn't like R-rated.
That's why I slap it under a different studio.
I know, but that's like common sense. But for people, they think Disney would handle everything.
People are dumb.
People are very dumb.
It's just crazy. I mean, I know we like to all talk about the superhero aspect of it and those rights and everything, but just Disney owning all those Fox channels and stuff like that. That's crazy. On a more actual business side, wow.
Can you imagine? And here's another big reason why Disney desperately wants this. They launched their own streaming service in 2019, spring of 2019. They go, hey, you got the entire Disney catalog. You also remember all those Fox Kids cartoons? Remember all these Fox movies and legacy titles? And hey, Avatar Land, which we have over in Disney right now? We also got Avatar, and there's 4 more movies coming out. They will literally take so much of catalog away from Amazon and everybody else to put on their own service that you'll literally have no reason to go to Netflix, because you'll be, other than Stranger Things and a couple other original shows, because everything from Fox's entire history, 24, X-Files, Prison Break, is all going to be Disney property. You're ridiculous.
You're forgetting 1 or 3 very big important things.
Which one? What?
They would own the original cuts of Star Wars.
Yup.
Facts. They were doing Lucasfilm. What?
And
you put that on the streaming service, you've won.
You
can't pick that.
So here's realistically how they do it. They put out all 3 of the new Star Wars movies, right? And then after they're done, they go, hey guys, we're going to re-release every single Star Wars movie, 1 or 2 a year, in their original versions, including the original movies, in theaters for a limited 2 weeks. They're easily going to make another $300-400 million off each damn original theatrical cut before they do just the basic Blu-rays, and then the 4Ks, and then the 8Ks by then. Like, they're gonna make money back in just Star Wars. It's nuts.
Now the question is, how much is this gonna cost? Is it going to be more than how much they brought Star Wars and Marvel for, or is it going to be the same $4 billion that they spent on both?
Well,
from what I read, from what certain people have speculated, it's about the same for what they bought for Star Wars if they're getting just the properties that they want and not the extras that Fox owns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is there anything at Fox that kind of warrants that much? I know there's a lot of IPs that they get in, but does it warrant $4 billion?
I mean, Alien, you can't bring that to the bargaining table. It's dead. Predator, what's that? Planet of the Apes just ended, so I don't know. Like, so you're getting a lot of baggage on there, but you got to be damn well sure they're after the big properties. And hypothetically, if it's just like Marvel, if you spend $4 billion on Marvel Studios, in 10 years, you will have turned that $4 billion into $15 billion worldwide. Like, it's...
I mean, just
basic...
just domestically, they've made $1 billion profit. So.
It's.
I mean, that's just basic business, right? You pay. I don't remember. Did it ever say how much Disney wanted to pay for that, or no? Because I don't remember seeing how much they wanted to pay.
They both spent $4 billion on Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they could be more. I don't. Fox wanted to buy Time Warner for how much? Like, was it 50 or was it less? I'm trying to.
I can't have to say.
So much money. You share it, guys. Share it, company. Share it with the people, but you won't. I know.
I'd take a little bit. I won't.
Yeah. But
I think it's.
I don't think this will happen. To be honest,
I'm torn. I don't know.
I'm happy if it does, but I'm not holding my
So
breath.
here's the thing: the most recent report that was on CNBC, which was about 12 hours ago from when we're recording this in their late night. All the analysts and experts that they brought on, the major takeaway was it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Fox will legitimately, if you look at how they're doing, the rate they cancel shows at, and how much their retention rate is compared to other people and what some of these people want out of Fox, they can't continue operating how they're operating. They're essentially in another Sony situation where Sony was hemorrhaging money for a decade, and they went, you know what, let's triple down on PlayStation and try movies, abandon laptops, TVs, everything, because it's not making money. Now Sony is making tons of money, all thanks to the PlayStation brand, and their movies are still in the hole. Even with Spider-Man's huge success, they're now finding a lot of profit. So Fox is becoming that same thing. So at one point, why not guarantee yourself a job at Disney watching over, and I quote, for 15 years the X-Men property while you just get fed money? Like, it's smart, you know, it's business. These are businessmen.
The only downside to this happening is I like what Fox are starting to do with the X-Men movies. Apart from the big main one, like everything else, it's like, is this going to go or is this going to stay?
So,
like, would they? Because you couldn't just put these X-Men in the Marvel universe. It wouldn't work. It would collapse everything.
Just one more thing. It was odd. People saw that Fox's stocks were on the rise during these talks.
Well, every time Disney want to buy something, it always goes up.
Yep.
No, it's just
because so we should we should buy some stock right now, right? In Fox, just in case.
Yeah, I mean they're not that much, you know. Like, it's not like Disney stocks was like 100 per.
Here's the thing: like, the way I look at it is, you can't bring the current continuity in. It's just too complex an issue. Get like the smartest writers in the world to hash out some sort of overarching giant plot for Avengers.
Couldn't do it.
Like,
it's possible. You couldn't do it.
So the way I see it is, you get these people, and you just pay them off. You go, you know what? You're guaranteed these contracts, but sorry, we can't keep you. Yada yada. For at least the core X-Men movies, they'd probably keep Deadpool, keep him in his own thing. But I feel they would Spider-Man Homecoming the hell out of it. They're like, all right, all the X-Men, you're gonna be between the age of 15 and 17. 17, the oldest for like Cyclops. And here's your original team, and go ahead. Like, they would have to reboot a clean slate because they would want to do it the way they want to do it, not the way it's been done that they don't necessarily like. So it's...
At least with the Fantastic Four, it's easy. You just make another reboot.
Yeah. Honestly, the Fantastic Four, you could easily just go to, like, let's say this deal is hashed out. I'm not saying it's going to be, right? I'm not saying that nothing right now. Let's say they confirm this deal in summer of 2018, right? Well, okay, Avengers 4 is still around the corner. Your post-credits scene is they're like, Doctor Strange, or I don't know, what do we do with all these Infinity Gems? I got an idea. Let's form the Illuminati. All right. After credits scene, they're like, have you guys heard about Reed Richards? And there you go. You just introduced the actor who's Reed Richards, and you slowly start establishing these Fantastic Four characters in these other movies. And they could easily do it like that, and they probably would, just to get that, character spotlight. Because I don't think you kick off the Fantastic Four with a straight up reboot because of all the bad baggage. I think you'd have to show them up in somewhere else first to get people interested, just like Spider-Man and Civil War. So, but people are saying it's a matter of when, and I think when is probably going to happen in the next year. And I know there was a report, talks have stopped. Guess what, guys? Spider-Man talks ended for 3 months, and then they continued, and it happened. This is how they go. They go back to the drawing board, and they renegotiate with their own studio. And
like talks always start and stop. It's just how it works. This is the third time we've heard about Disney and Fox selling off to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk start, talk stop.
It's coming.
They both clearly want it.
Yeah.
Let's
and like I said, at the worst, someone else is going to buy all of Fox, and by default, they have to give the other stuff away. Like, the best deal is going to be offered by Disney, regardless of what other studio offers them, because they want those characters back. So it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. So, I mean, in the next couple weeks, this will probably get a little bit more expanded on. We'll probably start hearing more, and we'll talk about it way more when the time comes, guys. Here we go. Thor Ragnarok spoiler cast. Yep, so I enjoyed this movie. It was real good. Real good.
All around, what was kind of everybody's thought, like, right after, like, initial impressions? Because Mitch has been, like, 2 weeks, though, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Thor movie.
I was going to say, I've waited so long for this. Like, for fuck's sake, guys, come on. When I walked out, it wasn't my favorite. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't, like, top 5 or anything. It was obviously top 10 because I'm 17. So But, like, I really enjoyed it when it first came out. I've liked it more as time's gone on, as I've seen it twice. I've, like, noticed things that make me like it more.
I mean, I agree. It's definitely not top 5 for me because that's very hard to crack. But
I mean, like, now, I think it might be top 5. Initially,
it's probably, like, top 10. It's hard. I have to actually go back and look because I have an actual list. But it was just all around great. It was one of the best experiences in a movie I've had in a while. So it was it was just great.
It's in my top 7, definitely. It's right there. It's right after Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really enjoyed it, but my biggest thing
does that mean it's number 7 if it's top 7?
I think so. It might be it's flipping between 6 and 7. I'm not sure yet. I think it's 7, but I can't be sure yet. So, like, I have to watch it a couple more times. But
you know what? It actually might be 6 for me because I have Doctor Strange at 6.
So, yeah, I'm thinking it might be 6. I need to go through all of them again to make.
Yeah,
I have a list ready. Like, I've always.
I tell you what, come Infinity War, we're gonna have a big
an official list.
Oh yeah, we got to make the official CBC list.
Which one's official?
All right, we're gonna have the official list of like all of ours, and then we'll see what's the
what
top.
We'll have is a specific podcast where we each bring our own list and compare them.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a separate one where we all argue what the actual definitive CBC list is.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be
should...
3 hours. That's gonna be 3 hours long.
We need to do that more often. The definitive lists of that type of thing, because that's fun.
What we can all agree on: number 19 by that time, The Dark World.
Yeah.
No, I will fight people on that.
It might be Iron Man 2, to be honest, but
Iron Man 2 is good.
you can
I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's in my top 10. I did like Thor Ragnarok a lot more because it kept me engaged and interested in the story, unlike Thor: The Dark World, because I kind of zoned out during pieces and I can't remember half of it.
So definitely one of the movie's strengths. Like, it is focused. As hectic as it is in the first act, it's very focused on what it wants.
So here's I want to start off with the biggest issue I actually had with the movie, and that's on Sakaar, because when we see them leaving, from Earth, and they're fighting Hela. Loki gets thrown out, and when Thor gets to Sakaar, we learn that Loki's already been there for about 2 weeks or so, and he's never once heard of the Hulk. Like, there's people with parades out there. His face is on a goddamn statue, and
yeah, that is a weird.
That was the weirdest, most biggest. Like, what the hell is this? Like, how does this even happen, guys? Like,
I think kind of depends. Like, where has he been? What's he been doing? Has the Hulk had a fight in those 2 weeks? Like,
I also think
if Loki's locked away, he's not going to know who the Hulk is. Thor didn't know until he was there. No one said it's a big green dude. It's just, it's the Grandmaster Champion.
I think he also said he might have been a prisoner, and it took him that long to get into the good graces of. Yeah. This might have been his first time in the actual thing. Maybe he just was kept somewhere. There might be a way to explain that, but at the same time, I was like, oh, you've been here for a while.
That was literally, I think, my biggest issue, other than the pacing, because it's like, right before that scene, we get Odin dies, and they don't give you a second to even take that in that great moment. It's just like, nah, next scene, you're like, oh god, slow down, movie. Like
I understand that it's really quick, and I agree it's really quick, but what I've come to, how I've justified it in my head is Taititi had to get rid of everything the Dark World had done so he can get to his movie.
Yeah.
And that first act is literally, let's do the Dark World, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Like, no one cares that Loki's Odin, because everyone knows it anyway. It's not a big mystery. Well, get it out of the way.
Let's talk about that aspect of, like, that kind of beginning aspect of it. I love that it just seemed like Anthony Hopkins could literally just have fun with it. It's just like he was pretending to be Loki. Like, it was such a change, because it seems like everybody had fun doing this movie, as opposed to before, where it was more serious. Like, and even though they had comedy, it didn't feel as fun, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It had, like, we all know it had comedy, but it just didn't feel fun as opposed to this movie.
I think that's why a lot of people are saying, like, oh, Thor's out of character. It's like, no, Thor's always been funny in this universe. Like, ever since Thor 1, he's always had comedy aspects, but his movies and everything around has been, like, drab and dreary and dark.
Yeah, because
so like you're bringing more light onto that aspect.
I know Armin has mentioned before, like, technically the first 2 Thor movies were comedy because they had the human characters and they were the whole comedy aspect of it. And even Thor and Loki had a lot of comedy, but I don't know if it's just me, they didn't seem fun.
No.
They just seemed like such
It's because everything around, because they were trying to play it straight. In this, they kind of like go, well, it's not serious, We have a giant person walking around made out of rock. Nothing serious in this movie. Like, let's just go.
Like, I mean, you have Matt Damon in this. You had the other Hemsworth brother, Luke, I think his name was. And they were having fun doing the whole play thing. And
Sam Neill was Odin, just quickly.
Oh, it's true. But it's just, I guess that around that part, like the beginning, the only thing that kind of was iffy to me was I just didn't have a lot of time to mourn Odin. And I was like, I felt like I needed a little bit more, but this movie didn't have any time. So I get it, but I don't know if I'm the minority there, that I just wanted a little bit more time.
A lot of people have said, it is kind of like you should have hung on that a little bit longer than you did.
Yeah.
But, at least he didn't completely ignore it, because you had that scene with Thor in the prison, like, doing the prayer for Odin, and then interaction with Loki.
Did anybody else also feel like almost they wanted to rather make a Planet Hulk movie than a Thor Ragnarok movie? Because, like, the Ragnarok stuff is so divorced from what's happening on Sakaar, and they clearly put all their design and effort into Sakaar. Like, it's just...
Sure.
I mean, I kind of, but at the same time, like, if you split into the 3 acts, so each one's a third, that it is 2/3 Ragnarok. Like, Sakaar is only
beginning and end, but it's a long middle though. It is a very long middle.
Yes, it is a long middle, but like Sakaar's not a focus because Thor's not focused on Sakaar. It's like he's like, yes, he's trying to get out and they're dragging him back in, but it's it's pulling back to let him go, sort of thing. So it's like I can see it kind of being more like they want a Planet Hulk movie, but it didn't feel like a Planet Hulk movie.
How about we get into that, the whole Sakaar part of everybody loved it, right? Like, there's not too much to go against it.
I mean, it's got Korg and Meek in it, like,
Yeah, well, I mean, Korg is literally the best. Like, and I didn't even know that it was Taika Waititi. Like, he was doing the voice for it. I was like, that's perfect. He's like,
he did motion capture.
He's a good comedy actor, and he knows what exactly he needed to do because it is his movie too that he directed. So it was just perfect all around of how he did it. He has that accent for it too. I felt like that's a voice.
Yeah.
Literally, that's just him talking normal.
That's true. Like, how's it going, fellas?
Just, hey man.
Hey man. Hey. That's just so.
It was
funny,
perfect.
man.
It was perfect.
Oh, you're forgetting about the new Doug.
Doug. Doug. He's dead.
That's Doug? No, Doug's dead. Yeah.
That is just hilarious.
So Doug said the same thing. He wanted to fight the champion.
Well, I want to ask everybody, what was their funniest? Who was their funniest character to them? Because it's hard between Korg and Grandmaster. It's hard between both of them.
Like Jeff Goldblum, it was perfect. He didn't phone it in like a lot of people were worried, and I was worried about it as well. He did exactly what he had to do. He was perfect. You knew he was going to be perfect. It's got to be Korg.
It has to be between those two, though, right? It has for funniest character.
But like Korg is literally the entire humor of the movie. Like. He has that rock, paper, scissors joke, which I think a lot of people have kind of missed a lot of the subtleties in that joke. But like, at the end he stomps on Meek, who is the scissors. So rock beats scissors, and his revolution was stopped by not enough pamphlets. So paper beats rock.
Oh, it's funny.
If you look at the layers of the comedy, it's all cool.
But at one point, Jeff Goldblum literally didn't talk. He's like, another world, so I would be a million years old, and on the car, he really doesn't talk. That was just dead to me, man. I thought because I remember when Taika, I don't know if it was a troll or not. I mean, it doesn't seem like it now, where he said that most of the movie, like majority of it, was improv. And
it was.
Everybody thought that doesn't seem good for a movie. Then when you see the movie, it's like it needed to be improv because Jeff Goldblum doesn't need a script. He's just him.
I mean, like when the Thor's picking out a weapon and he's like, "Oh, you wrote a hammer," like all that scene that was completely improvised.
Oh, you wrote and the hammer pulled you.
The funny part was when they were trying to get the slaves, and Jeff did not like the word slave.
Oh yeah, prisoners with jobs.
It's hard to Tristan. Well, who's your funniest character? Who's your MVP of that?
Oh, it's got to be Korg. He was the bomb.
Yeah,
the best.
All right. I'd have to agree just because I love that, but it's hard to. Jeff Goldblum's like barely there just because. I think we had more time with Korg though, didn't we? Or no?
I think it's debatable. I think they're about the same.
It felt like we had more time with Korg, and that might be because I really just laughed out loud for it.
Like there was a lot of Korg in the Sakaar, and then you get more Korg after Sakaar, and you don't get any more Jeff Goldblum after that. So,
like the ending was like, "Hey man, we're gonna go jump into that spaceship and."
Oh, I mean, like where he was saying, as long as the foundations are still there, you can rebuild.
Well,
it'll be a place for humans and aliens.
This is such a quotable movie.
Isn't it awesome that we're talking about Thor and all we're talking about is the goddamn Korg? That tells you a lot about it. So,
master, like, because this, I like to think that a movie is as good as how quotable it is. Like, especially like a comedy type thing. If it's super quotable, then that means it's one of the best. And I think Thor is.
Would you agree this is a straight up comedy? Because I wouldn't say it's. I say it's a very funny movie. I wouldn't say that they played it as a comedy.
No, because some would say like most Marvel movies are comedies. Like, no, it's funny, but they're not comedies.
I honestly think this was the most comedic. Like, this was up there with Guardians with comedy.
Yeah,
because I'd say Guardians is more of a comedy than this movie. This is more of an action adventure sort of buddy cop. But I wouldn't say it is a straight comedy.
I'd say both of them are more comedies than any of the other Marvel movies. It's hard to do. Sure. I don't think you'd actually see, like, if you went to IMDb or Box Office Mojo, I don't know if it'd actually say comedy, but if it did, I wouldn't be against it. Be like, yeah, it makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I just wouldn't. I don't know. I think people are saying there's more comedy in it than there is. I just think what there is in there is just really fucking funny and memorable.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. A bad thing about it, like saying, "Oh, it has more comedy." It's a bad. No, that's great.
No, like, fuck those people that are like, "Oh, I don't like being entertained." Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And it's like, no, they made a joke when Ragnarok blew up, and it's like, yeah, but they told you the entire movie Asgard doesn't fucking matter, so they can make a joke at that point. Like they told you not to care about this place. Like, get over it.
I mean, like, one thing I did like about this that was interesting to me is that Thor never wanted to be the king of Asgard. Instead, he wanted to be a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
wasn't-
moment.
And his dream got bursted when he said that only females can be Valkyries.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. It's about time. Yeah.
I mean, we said like the MVP for a comedy, but like, who was kind of the MVP of the newcomers? I mean, Tessa Thompson has to be. Right?
No, see, I think it's Hela. I think it's Kate
it's
Blanchett,
Hela?
100%. Yeah.
I
She's
think
not the greatest character in the world, but what Kate Blanchett did in that role is what I'd want from a movie.
it's got for me. It's Tessa Thompson because of the fact that it's so different than what I thought she was gonna be, but she does it really great. And
they weren't afraid to make a very flawed female character, which a lot of people are these days. How many times you see a female alcoholic?
That's agreeable. I agree. You don't see that a lot, and the fact that they're kind of embracing that, and she did leave because she had such a dramatic past and she almost died, makes sense. And then when she's as Valkyrie, it's even just as good because she kicks ass, dude. She really does. Yeah. Like Tessa Thompson, she's had let me see, because I remember she's Creed, Thor Ragnarok, Westworld, right there. That's all you need. You just need 3 big things. You're good with that, I think. Yeah. And now you got a career to go after. I think.
I mean, she's back in the Infinity War, isn't she?
Is she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Actually.
Pretty much, virtually everyone from every franchise is coming back for this.
I wish Jeff Goldblum was going, but he's not apparently.
I mean, we'll see Goldblum eventually. You're not just gonna chuck off the Elders of the Universe.
The 4th one. Let's have him in the 4th one.
I mean, sure, why not?
Why not?
There has to be a 4th.
Why can't it be an end credit scene? Or post credit scene, whatever.
Wasn't it? He wasn't in the end credit scene.
No, I mean in Infinity War. Why can't it be him in the collector?
I mean, sure, it could be.
Him, you know what I mean? Like I need Benicio del Toro and Jeff Goldblum in the same room. I need that. And literally improv.
Yep.
It is so great. But Tristan, who's like your kind of like newcomer there? That they're great. We need them more.
I'm gonna go. I want more Valkyrie. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I just the Valkyrie had something about it that I definitely enjoyed.
If they could make that A-Force movie, I would be there day one instantly. Like have her lead the team, it would be instant sell. Like that's just too good not to make.
Tessa Thompson. Who else would be in it? Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson. You'd have Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch.
I would love
Scarlett Johansson. All that.
I'm so down for that. I hope they do something like that. I'm not banking on it, but
would they add She-Hulk to it?
Sure, why not?
I mean, if you introduce her at some point,
you can introduce her in that.
Give Pepper Potts, what's her name? Who plays her?
Gwyneth
Paltrow.
Yeah. Give her the rescue armor. Done.
Yeah.
Give her more to do. Right. Why not?
Tristan, who was your favorite? Like, who would you want more of out of the new characters?
Just the same with Armin and you with Tessa. I just love the character throughout the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it if I saw more of Hela, but she died.
I mean, she'd be a really good villain.
Yeah.
Of Hela, to be honest, because Hela's dead. So fuck your theories of Hela's going to be the death with Thanos. Like that's gone. Right.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, Tessa was obviously going to come back, but as a breakout, I would say.
I'm still saying that Thanos is going to bring all the villains in all the previous Marvel movies back to life for like a second or something. It's like, I don't know, but that's too much. Because remember, that was the thing that we always said. People kept saying, oh, they always kill their villains. What if Thanos were to bring them all back as like a one-shot like type of thing of you see it as their army?
I think you then kind of overkilling your movie.
Maybe.
At this point, especially like, you bring back Hela, you don't need Thanos or anyone else.
It's true.
Like, took out the entirety of Asgard's army in like 5 minutes.
Well, I want to ask, what was the best kind of action scene? I would say that the 3 that you have to choose from versus Sotor versus Hulk. Okay, I say it wrong. I know, I always say it wrong. And versus Hela. Which is your favorite out of the 3? The 3 Thor action scenes. Which one gets the approval?
So I hated the Surtur action scene. I thought that was way too fast for how big he was and how much cool stuff they could have done.
The beginning,
the second one, like the end movie one.
The ending.
That was trash. Honestly, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's such a they told you at the start of the movie what's going to happen, and like it's kind of
it happens.
He wasn't the focus of the movie.
I'm fine with how it went and what happens and everything. I just wish it was slightly longer. Like I would have loved to see maybe another minute of like Hulk and him just kind of duking it out to make it like this giant spectacle, and it was like it just kind of ends. Like he dives into his head, gets thrown away, and then it's like, all right, let's just retreat.
I love the fact that they played like it's not the typical third act. It's not we have to smash a giant monster, and they play on that. And it's how like no, leave them to it. Like we've lost this. Like we can't win this fight, so we just have to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I think that.
See, I guess it was the one time I actually wanted a little bit more fighting in my movie.
No, I did like that part.
There was some good fighting.
This Hulk, for once in your life, would you stop smashing but monster?
Yeah, that's true. Hulk was pretty great in this. I don't know. I think a lot of people would say they love the Hulk versus Thor thing, but the action scene in the beginning, I thought was really great, especially how you followed the hammer sometimes.
Yeah, we get hammer.
Oh God,
Never seen it before.
I thought that was great.
I found it quite cheeky that they took that from James Foster Thor, because Thor doesn't do that. That's 100% a Jane thing to do, where she can like fight in tandem and the hammers flying around. It's like that's not a Thor thing, and that's a Jane thing.
Yeah.
So then again, they took a lot of aspects of Hela, like Hela was Angela and Gore, so they put things into it.
That's what it was. I was like, wait a minute, isn't that? I can remember it was Angela. That was her name. Yeah, they did take that Gore the God Butcher, which I understand because that's what they do, but sometimes I was just like, I wish you could have just, whatever. But
it's not like you can really go like, oh, I'm Loki's daughter. You can't really play that angle. But plus Gore would kind of make. Admittedly, it was only kind of a line, like "What are you the god of again?" Like that was from Gore. But for the most part, she is Hela. Hela was a swordsman or swordswoman.
Yeah.
I mean, what about? Tristan, I don't know. Did you say which one you liked? Like, because there were action scenes, even though we think this is a comedy.
No, mine would probably be the end with Hela's army and Thor finally realizing he didn't need the hammer for his powers.
Oh yeah, it was always kind of like a way to focus it. And how did y'all feel about that?
Kind of for me, because like in the comics, the hammer was the source of power.
Yeah, but I agree. It's a bit weird. But at the same time, I find it quite clever. The enchantment on the hammer is whoever wields his hammer will wield the power of Thor.
And he's Thor.
So they've always told you the power is not from the hammer. It's just a very subtle thing they've kind of picked up on. It's like, no, Thor has the power. The god of thunder.
I wanted to ask about how, like, I don't know, to some it might be cheesy or whatever, but the whole Asgard's not a place is for people, or the whole you are stronger than me, or
I like. No, it's cheesy, but it's got like it's got like subtle things to it.
I mean, I definitely loved it just because it gave off. I love cheesy stuff like that, so it also gave Anthony Hopkins more to do towards the end. It's like you came in.
It's like like the whole movie, like you can sum it up really in one scene, and that's when Hela's in the vault, where she goes like fake. Like she's stripping away everything which they strip away everything from Thor. And then they go, oh look, the real power is underneath everything. And it's like the real power is inside.
Oh, that is a great way to.
There's
look
a
at
lot
it.
of like metaphors, and you can make the connection to the whole like how empires are built. Where it's like she says, you're proud that you got it, you're ashamed of how you get it. Like every empire is like that. In the real world, and then you've got the immigrants with like all the Asgardians now. So.
Yep. Agree. I mean, they were technically building a wall. There was a wall in between both of them.
Yeah.
That Hela kind of knocked down, which I don't know if that's but it's just I mean that whole aspect of it I just really loved it. I think that was my favorite part of it, besides of course the comedy. But I love when a movie can be inspirational like that in a sense, and you can there's probably gonna be some people who take this into like their own lives, and which is like what's great with these kind of things. You can inspire not only like your characters in the movies, but people who are watching them in that type of sense. But I mentioned this before, and y'all said I should save it. How did y'all feel about that? The trailer kind of shows stuff that's not in the movie, because I saw that one pic of all four of them, like Loki, Hulk, Valkyrie, Thor, and they're ready to fight. Yeah, that's not in the movie. It's definitely not in the movie.
Well, like this, I'm not gonna say is a victim of reshoots. It definitely was affected by reshoots. You look at the whole when the hammer gets broken. That's not in New York. That's in Norway, which is clearly going to be where Asgard's going to be from now on.
I thought that was all on a green screen, and they
was all on a green screen.
and they green screened it somewhere else. Yeah,
awful.
It was
Like,
awful. Yeah.
Like Loki and Thor are nice and clear. Everything else from like the bottom to the top of the screen is grainy.
That is weird that it was like, what was it? What'd you say? Like an alley or something, right?
It was just, they were in New York because Odin, if you look at set pictures, was supposed to be a hobo. But in test screenings, people didn't understand how Odin could be trapped like that because he's so powerful.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of switch it up, and it's a bit more respectful to have Odin go in Norway at the home of Norse mythology than it is just a die in a random alleyway. That's kind of why they've done it.
I see what you're saying.
Like this movie isn't the movie we were supposed to get. Period.
Oh, clearly not.
You go all the way back to 2015. Someone interviewed Jamie Alexander, and she said, yes, she's definitely back. She has a pivotal role in the movie. Neither of those two things happened.
Nope. I mean, kind of glad, because then she would have just randomly died in the beginning.
I was going to say, like, look.
You know, that's the thing, though. It's like, even with these reshoots, and it's clearly not the movie they set out to make first off, it's still a good movie. So they didn't have that, like, negativity around it that, like, the Justice or Batman v Superman had, where it was so clearly reshot that the movie just didn't jive with itself because of how much they messed up. So,
I mean, it's so weird. When I saw the trailer and I saw the movie, I was like, man, it's like a lot of scenes are way different than expected. Oh,
yep.
But it is what it is. I guess that's just the nature of making a movie. Sometimes you're gonna have to change it because, like Mitch said,
it's how it goes. It's how it goes with these damn big old Hollywood productions.
But I wanted to know what y'all thought about just when movies do that. We saw that in with Rogue One.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah.
So like, is this a good thing that movies are quote unquote not showing us the real deal so we can be surprised, or is it just by accident because we're reshooting?
I tune into like by accident because you don't know what's going to happen, or what they would want the movie to go at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it as long as the end product is good. It's, as long as the movie ends up good, I'm good.
Well, for me, like, how did you guys like Doctor Strange's involvement with Thor Ragnarok, where they made it how Doctor Strange keeps tabs on every mystical and strange thing that comes and goes from Earth?
I find that fine. Like, I didn't necessarily see a problem with that. I just loved the fact that we saw this at the end of Doctor Strange, and I wish they'd continue that, where you see a scene from the next movie in the movie you're watching now that happened with Civil War as well. But Doctor Strange just being in it is great because I've been always saying this is a world where they're all in it. Why don't they appear in one another's movies in that sense?
And also, like, Doctor Strange was real powerful too, so it's like, oh man, he's already getting a way better grasp on his power levels, which I thought that cameo was awesome, so I can't complain.
How far is it, though, from the end of Doctor Strange till that moment? Because he is getting a grasp on it, but he definitely seems like years ahead. Maybe he went into a dimension where years are a month or something. I don't know.
I mean, he was a fast learner in his movie.
It's true. It just feels like he's definitely Doctor Strange there, where like he's been years into it, like 5 years. I don't know. But either way, I thought he was great in the movie. I'd love to see more of that, where characters could appear, if it makes sense, of course, in other movies. But some people might say, it should be standalone, just only have them. I think if you have this universe, why not have them appear in them? Because similar, even though Suicide Squad's a bad movie, Batman and Flash show up. It makes sense. It's a world. They're all in it together.
That's the argument, isn't it? Because everyone wants, like, the Defenders and the TV shows to just gratuitously join the movies for whatever reason without anyone knowing each other. Yeah. But when it comes to the movies, if one goes in another one, it's forced and shoehorned. It's like,
it makes more sense in the movies than it does Defenders going to the movies because, of course, there's that whole TV movie aspect of it, but they don't know each other. And the movies, clearly, they know of each other. Like, they're also more powerful in the movies. So I mean,
I think if you've got the toy box and you can do it. Play with everything.
Why not? If let's say if we get a Sam Alexander movie at one point, why can't he randomly show up in Homecoming or something like that? I mean, so I don't know. I would assume because maybe they're not in the same state. But what if Sam was there first and then he moved? I don't know.
Say it doesn't matter for a human rocket, does it?
Yeah, that's true. So I don't like, if it's a sandbox, why not mess around with them? why just keep it separate if you don't have to? That's just me. I love when they do that more so because it makes sense. But yeah, so I don't know. Doctor Strange is just. I would love to see more of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange just because he's great. But we're gonna see more of him in Infinity War. Yeah.
So
Infinity War.
I guess we're actually going to end the spoiler cast right here because, the movie
else.
will be coming out on home video probably in the next 4 to 5 months, which means you guys can look forward to our Patreon audio commentary where it'll be pretty much everything dissected and discussed. So,
actually, 3 months maybe. I've been actually looking at the dates of when movies come out and home video. It's such shorter now. It's like 2.5 to 3 months now. Literally 2.5 to 3 months.
Like,
it's crazy.
When did Homecoming come out in like movies?
July, right?
Yeah,
July.
So July, and it's already out on Blu-ray.
It was out in by September. It was out. So yeah, it'll probably be out right around Black Panther. Which yay.
Yeah, it might be or Infinity War. It's only a couple of months.
True.
I'm gonna guess Black Panther, but that's.
So, thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast and the extended spoiler cast on Thor Ragnarok. And as always, make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter, check out the Patreon and everything, just because you guys can find everything there, the commentaries, and we'll catch you guys next week for more of these shows.